All right, we are live, and this is on my screen looking funny. So let me go look on YouTube here and make sure that it's not backwards. I don't need to see that. Let's see, are we live? All right, good. On YouTube, it looks normal. So I'll just have to deal with it looking reverse image. All right, so working on setting up a new store here. All right. Going to be going by the name MARC-DOWN Collectibles. We're going to be opening up in Manahawkin, New Jersey very soon. More details to follow in future videos and breaks and all the fun stuff that we do here. But I wanted to do a little content piece. Actually, I took a break that had broke in a few days back. So the numbers that I'm going to use here, I think, circa like January 26th. So it's a few day difference. And well, we know in the hobby, a few days can mean a lot. We are going to ask the question whether breaks are worth the money or if they're a total waste of time. I just see a lot of people on the internet saying that breaks are nothing but a gamble, a glorified lottery ticket, so to say. I have some mixed feelings on that. And obviously, as a breaker, one would say I might have some bias, but anybody who knows me and has been watching me for years now knows that I always want to take, the middle of the road perspective and just, quite frankly, try to have an unbiased position on it. Anything sports or hobby related. I'll trash my own team, and not in that, whiny kind of way, except for when I talk about, this trade right here. That was a bummer. Stupid. But what we're going to do is we're going to talk a little bit about breaking in general, and I'm also going to show some of the different options that there are out there for collectors. This isn't a one-way thing. There's so many, unwritten rules and this is the way to do it, and it's not. All right. For most, this is a hobby, and this is a way where we're supposed to enjoy ourselves. So if we're constantly not enjoying ourselves, then maybe it's not the right hobby. So let's first say this. If you haven't already, please subscribe. We're trying to get our subscriber numbers up, and we want to do a lot more content. The more people we have subscribing, the more worth it is to keep doing things like this. All right. Now, I'm going to start. I'm actually going to take something that I typed up. I do kids breaks for some card shows that, for the most part, they're in New York, Westchester County Center. All right. Although lately they've had to use the Westchester Marriott. They also run out of Hofstra, JP Sports, and Rock Solid Promotions do a lot of really nice big card shows, and we do kids breaks for them. So on their page, I kind of defined what a group break is, because that's important. A lot of people talk about something without even knowing anything about it nowadays. I guess that's the power of social media, but that doesn't exactly help you learn anything. What is a group break? Well, a simple answer would be opening a hobby-related product, such as a box of trading cards, where a group has predetermined how it will be divided after it's opened. All right? There's a variety of ways to do this depending on what is being opened and the preference of the breaker too, right? Some of the more popular breaking styles include random team, pick your team, random division, hit draft, and when it comes down to it, there's there's probably like 100 different ways to do it. Breaks can be a fun way to chase after big hits at a fraction of the price of purchasing whole boxes or cases. Pick your team breaks can also help those who only collect specific players and or teams to narrow their search and go after those that they specifically want. Breaking is also a great way to keep the hobby fun, as many breakers look to build a community of collectors that can buy, sell, trade with each other, or even just chat in general, in addition to the value of participating in the actual breaks, which is something we'll talk a little bit about. So I guess the first thing, the elephant in the room, yeah, I'm a breaker. But I'm even going to tell you it's not all sunshine and roses. All right. But I kind of get annoyed now. I guess it's kind of like, we just had a blizzard here in New Jersey, and it would probably tick off a guy who plows the roads, everybody complaining about how their road wasn't plowed right. Right. So when I see these social media posts about, breaks are such a waste of time, never get in one, a lot of the time, I call these Caillou breakers. I want what I want it now, and if I don't get it, I'm going to cry about it. And it's true, a lot of these people that complain about breaking maybe have only been in a couple of breaks, and even better, maybe those breaks spots that they bought were like $15, $20. Like, really, you got $40 vested into this, and you know all about it, and that it's a total failure. You got a lot to learn. And I guess that's why I'm doing this video. So we said what a break is. So what is a gamble? Well, this is interesting because there are a lot of gray areas here. But here's the thing with a gamble. All right. When you put all your eggs in one basket and that basket drops and all your eggs are broken, you have nothing left. All right. I'm gonna use a dirty 4-letter word here. All right. You know what a gamble is? A razz. Ooh. That word can get you in trouble. Well, what is a razz? Well, a razz is a lottery, but they can't call it that, or else the social media police get them, right? I'm talking particularly about Facebook, where this seems to be a very popular thing for the type of collector that is also a big gambler. If you got guys that are doing parlays and exactas and all that stuff, they're betting on sports, they're, on football, on baseball, on horses, on the Royal Rumble, right? That's going to have, there's a lot of people that swear by it. There's actually people who don't think that it's really gambling. I mean, it is. Actually, it's not a legal form of gambling in any state that I know of. And a lot of the times, you're talking about collecting money, right? If you're not like a charitable organization, then you generally can't run a lottery unless you have like some sort of a license that applies to your state. And then there's a whole bunch of other rules, right, that are all being broken and harassed. Let's face it. All right. But let's forget about that part and let's talk about this. Generally in a razz, you're going to have equal odds. Your typical sample. All right. Somebody's got a card worth around $100, right? 10 spots at $10 a piece. What are your odds of getting that card? 1 in 10. All right. So that means you got to be pretty lucky. You've got a 90% fail rate. Most will be lucky to get their value back just based on luck, right? I like to talk about something called law of averages. All right. I apply it to breaking all the time. It's not so simple as averaging numbers together. Razzing is. And if you get in 10 razzes that are 10 spots at $10 a piece, the odds are you will win one time. So you will have put $100 in and you'll end up with a $100 card. So then why didn't you just buy the $100 card? Ooh, and people are going to think this is going to come back to bite me when we talk about breaking, but it's not. Don't worry. Now, here's the thing, though. Not all are built the same. So, first of all, you have different variables in luck. I've taken statistics in college, all right, there's some flexibility here. You could do 30 of them and win once. And that still fits within the statistical, means and odds. You're unlucky, but it's not unfeasible that could happen. So now you spend $300, right? And you got a $100 card. It could happen that you don't get any. Now, that's pretty bad luck 30 times in a row, but sad to say I've seen it happen to people. So now you have nothing, 0. Or you might win 5 times and you have 500. All right. But the ultimate thing there is you can end up with nada. And here's the thing too. All right. Let's say that you do the impossible and win 30 times in a row. At $10, your max value out is still $300. All right. That's another important thing, the risk versus the reward. On top of the fact that, let's face it, you're not doing something legal. All right. It's not cool. That's all I say about that. But then you have other ones that are like, now it's a $5,000 card. It's 500 spots at $10 each. Or maybe you go 50 at 100. Now you're talking some big money, and some people are going to be like, "Oh, I'll buy half the spots." Now you're really messing with things. So you're talking about odds. Now, does odds mean gambling? No. In a break, you're going to have odds. Just the same as if you were buying a box of cards, you're going to have odds. Now, I know Panini doesn't post them, but if you take a look at this Topps pack, all right, best you can. It's really tiny, so the camera might not even focus on it. But you actually have the odds of getting certain cards put on there. A sky blue foil is 1 in 2 packs. A blue foil is 1 in 7, and so forth and so on. So we open this pack. Hey, 1 out of 2. Hey, all right, we're ahead. We're going to quit while we're ahead. We got anybody good here? Benny Montgomery, that's not a bad one. All right. There you go. One good player out of that pack. But so odds isn't gambling, because if this were gambling, they wouldn't let little kids buy it, right? The key thing is, in a gamble, you can end up with nothing. Is a break a gamble? Well, this guy's on here, and he's a breaker, and he doesn't seem to care for gambling very much. So this guy's going to tell me no, a break isn't a gamble. The real answer is sometimes it is. And I think that's the aspect that's kind of come out with the latest wave of collectors, where you have these guys that are doing, pulls on stacks, and they got little wheels that they spin around. There's a lot of blurry lines, a lot of blurred lines there. All right, a lot of gray. There are breaks that are gambles. There are breaks that have no guarantee of a card, right? Some breakers, cards could come out for your team, but they don't ship base cards. So you may not get, even if something comes out for your team, you may not get it. Now, we don't believe in that here. All right. When I had my first shop open, I actually was breaking in the store before I started breaking online. All right. So this is back in 2014. And you know who the majority of those getting in their breaks were? It was like the local Little League kids. And I'm like, all right, so we got all these kids that are coming in to do this break thing. And what if they go home with nothing? So they tell their mom and dad, give me $10 or $5 or whatever, right? And they come home with nothing. All right, I could see the problem in that. All right, that's a personal view. All right, some of you be like, "Oh, don't be such a big baby," But then there's others in the hobby that are huge babies. So we got a lot of personalities here, right? So here's a little bit of a guideline. All right, design your breaks. This is a tip to breakers out there. Design your breaks so everybody gets something. Then you're not glorifying a gamble. All right. Now it's just like opening a box and you got your odds. You're just changing things around and doing it in a different way. And if your breaker really cares about you, he understands the products, he understands the checklists, and is doing his best to kind of spread the wealth out. 1 in 10 means 9 failures. And that's with average luck. That's with average turnout of the probability. So if you got 30, 32 teams in a break, we'll say we're doing it by team, right? Again, there's lots of ways to do it. We used to do a lot of hit drafts and things like that. But if you have 30, 32 teams and there's only 10 cards, then yes, that breaks a gamble. All right. You're putting all this money towards a box of flawless. Big old briefcase, big old price tag, 10 cards. All right. And what's worse is that probably 6 or 7 of those cards on a random team break where everything's priced evenly ain't gonna be too close to what the price is on the spot. All right, you're basically, if you're not wearing a medal, Olympics are coming soon. If you're not wearing a gold, a silver, or a bronze, then you're probably not in good shape after the break. But still, it's still better than the 4-letter word that we're not going to talk about. If you have 400 cards coming out in the break, all right, and, again, you got to know your products. It's not very common, but sometimes there's products where a team won't even come out. It's rare, but it's happened. All right. Some breakers will actually combine teams that don't have a lot of probability of anything coming out so that it's a better, stronger spot. But basically, if you got a break with 400 cards, then it's not a gamble. you're just going to get what you get and you don't get upset. That's a whole other story. And this is why we get a lot of the negative Nellies, the naysayers on this is, what is the appropriate sample size? Now, I can't really fully answer that, but I can tell you this. If you're doing 1 or 2 breaks and you didn't get something and you're getting on your soapbox, you're doing it wrong. Okay? This is not a sprint. It's a marathon. And I have 8 years of experience and examples to show how. You can go onto the MARC-DOWN Entertainment website, go to the Wall of Fame. I haven't even updated that thing in over a year probably. And you look at some of the cards that have come out there. And there are some big money cards worth hundreds, cards worth thousands. All right. We've even pulled cards that are few that might be in the 5 to 6 figure range. I think the best card I ever pulled was True RPA Pat Mahomes numbered to 15, which, if my memory serves me correct, I had kept track of the serial number from the picture, and I had seen an auction where the card was high 5 figures, and this was years ago before the pre-pandemic. So you're talking before the surge. That thing's probably worth the same amount of money that a nice house is worth in most states. All right. Maybe not in Hawaii. Maybe not in California. Maybe not in New Jersey. Well, yeah, New Jersey could be close. Depends on your neighborhood. All right. So how do you beat the odds? Wait, you can beat the odds? Well, not exactly. But it's not as simple as some people say the house always wins. That I see the comments, the only one that wins in the break is the breaker. Well, that's not necessarily true. Because many a times I've been like, shoot, I wish I broke that case and just opened it. No, that's actually not true. And actually there was some recent news that kind of proves that. You had these breakers that were doing a giveaway, and they were breaking an $800 box pack by pack for 3 different people. And out of one of those packs, which in reality had a value of what, we'll say $275, right? Or yeah, somewhere around there, or $250, somewhere around there, right? And they pulled a card that could have been worth anywhere from $10,000 to $25,000. They said they were not going to give it up, and I don't know where that ended up, but it didn't seem like it was believed that the card ever actually got given away in the end. All right. So right there, you have an example of a card getting pulled that is worth many, many times over the product that it was pulled out of. Is it an easy pull? No. But it's not like a lottery ticket. I mean, has anybody I worked in retail, right? And I worked in supermarkets for a long time. I worked in customer service. I worked as a manager for convenience for a little time. All right. I know all about the lottery. I'll tell you what, you got a roll of 300 tickets, and most of the time, that's what you're going to get. You're going to get 7 winners out of 300. Think of it like teams. That's 0.7. That's worse than a RAS. And the worst part is 3 of those winners or 4 of those winners are going to be in a row. Oof. Yeah, that can be rough. Because see, what happens is, well, first of all, I think 50 or 60% of the money goes towards, stuff for the state. So in that case, Yeah, the breaker wins, the state wins because they're getting half of it. And that's what it is. It's a fundraiser. So that makes sense. It goes towards education. It goes towards all kinds of programs. So that's the plus of them. But they ain't going to make you rich. Because the odds of getting the big winner is actually a lot harder than getting the big card, believe it or not. Because here's the deal: is you're not going after a one grand prize. All right. Especially if you know your products. There's a lot of options out there that can be good for you. And just, numerically, it wouldn't be as difficult as, winning it on the lottery. Check out the odds on the Mega Millions. All right. Now, granted, there's not modern cards. All right. Maybe we shouldn't compare it. Maybe the pick 5 in Jersey, they call it cash 5, right? Where you can win hundreds of thousands. Those cards are out there modern. They are. But you got to know your products. So again, let's talk about gambling for a second. All right. What's your game? Is it roulette, high risk, high reward? Is it blackjack, where you got about 51 to 53% in favor of the house? Somewhere around there. It's pretty fair. But luck and the way you play and if you're consistent or not factor into that too. Or do you like to play poker? Poker's a gamble, but it's also a game of skill. You know what's also a game of skill is fantasy. All right, so that's gambling. Now, when you're looking at cards, you got to say, well, how do I want to do this? Do I want to do random team? Do I want to do pick your team? Well, you know what? A lot of people are just like coming into this hobby. A couple of years ago, it was just so easy. You go, you get retail product off of a shelf, wipe out that shelf, even go so far as bribing the person who puts the stuff on the shelf. And you make out every time. That's not really what the hobby's about. That's what crypto is about. That's not what the hobby's about. Getting something and making exponential money and not even knowing what you're dealing with. All right. Again, that mentality is out there, and there's people who will feed into that mentality. I am somebody who does breaks for a living. I sell cards for a living. I'm going to be opening up a shop here that's going to have, trading cards up the wazoo. We got toys, we got autographs, we got memorabilia, all kinds of fun stuff. We're even going to have, small movie section. Maybe we'll get some CDs in here. Not as much as we had back in the day, but times are different. I believe that this is a fun hobby. I make my living off of it, but I'm also very pro fun. I don't know. I want this to be something fun for everybody. And that's why when I do price my breaks, I'm very careful. I deliberately study, right, the product checklist. Some people don't even wait till they get the checklist to post the breaks up. They just need the release date confirmed, and then boom, there it goes. I guess in a random team break, you don't need to know anything about the teams. You just need to know what you want to make on it, divide it by that many teams, factor in for your shipping and your fees, surcharges, and all that stuff, and maybe a little extra for your time. All right, that's the one misconception there, is that everything is marked up, jacked up. There's different kind of breakers out there. There's guys who again are clearing off the shelves at Target, putting whatever together. They don't even know what they have. Okay, these are the same sport. We're just gonna put numbers up. We'll do random team because I don't know what I'm doing, or we'll steal somebody else's, pick your team numbers, or what. You have a lot of inexperienced breakers out there. Some that not only don't know about the hobby as far as the cards go, maybe they don't even know enough about the sport. They don't know how to pronounce people's names. They don't know what teams that people play for and things like that. There's a lot of people that just have gotten into the breaking thing, not understanding how to run a business. All right. And that's led to a lot of the improper behaviors that have been seen time and time again. And again, those people give a bad reputation to the ones that do it right. Everybody gets stuff at a different price. The big guys get a lot of stuff from the distributor or directly from the manufacturer at a price where they can actually make money on it. Somebody like me, who's kind of in the middle, gets some distributed product and has to search for others elsewhere. Sometimes there's stuff I've had to pay above the retail price at some of the big boy stores. Because if you don't do that, then the distributor gives you less and less and less until they totally exit you out of a category. It's unfortunate, but that's the distributors don't really care for their customers unless they're the biggest ones, and fanatics will probably take their souls and bury them far, far into the ground. But anyways, so the thing you have to ask is, what are your expectations in the hobby? What are your expectations of a break? Do you collect a player? Do you collect a team? Are you looking for just prospects? Are you looking for rookies? Do you just like autographs? Do you just like shiny cards? All right. You have low-end cards, high-end cards, mid-tier cards. Kind of touched on wax values, right? Again, there's retail, there's hobby, there's even hybrid products, there's online exclusives. Different breakers might be different, paying way different prices on things. You also have the actual value of the boxes, which can vary by sport. Right now, I think basketball is extremely overpriced. I think football is somewhat overpriced, but there's still ways to get it back. But there's also a lot of products that, again, one can really lose their shirt on. I've seen people say getting in a break is a gamble, but buying your own boxes, that's the way to go. I've seen people buy from me, spend $700 on a Panini hobby box and get like $50 worth of cards. So you haven't reinvented the wheel. You just enjoy the hobby, man. Go for the big cards if you want to go for the big cards, or go for the small cards if you want to go for the small cards. It's okay. Because that same person who maybe spent $700 on a box and got $50 worth of cards may have spent $300 another time and pulled a $5,000 card. And again, I've been doing this for 8 years, so I'm not just pulling numbers out of the air necessarily. These things happen. And some will say, well, it'll never happen to me. Well, if you spend $20 a month, then yeah, it'll never likely happen to you. Your odds are terrible. And I'm not saying that negatively towards those who do spend $20 a month. You got to have a budget. Part of enjoying this hobby, I've seen so many people get in so over their heads. You do have to be like, all right, so if I'm spending the money that should have gone towards my mortgage payment or my rent payment or my car payment on cards, then I may have a problem, right? Again, it's different personalities in this hobby. And, you know, it's the same with anything. It's the same with taking a vacation with your tax money when you have to replace your water heater or something like that, right? So, basketball is tough, football, it can be risky. I mean, I think baseball and hockey have the best spot on wax values right now. Upper Deck does take a lot of control into the pricing points, right? And it's just its own market. Where you compare it to the singles market, now people think, oh, wax values are coming down. That means the card market's coming down. No. Singles are coming down. Why are wax prices going up? They're different. There's some correlation in their relationship, but honestly, they're almost never doing the same thing at the same time. And because we have a lot of new people in the hobby that maybe start collecting in 2020 in January or June of 2020 or December of 2020 or March of 2021 or October of 2021, and you've only seen this sample size, let me tell you, as somebody who started collecting in 1989, it's not that simple, ever. It's not ever that simple. There's a lot of people with a lot of experience in this hobby who could not have predicted the surge up. And just because things come down, it's not a crash. Oh, now things are going back to, yes, usually the old timers, things are going back to reality. No, there's just different relationships in these markets, and there are corrections. All right. I have been a proponent of there being a very good upswing in baseball values. All right. I think baseball, probably the best buy out there on the market right now. But on top of that, there's a lot of upside in baseball. You had a very undervalued rookie class last year. So I think that eventually that'll hit the wax markets. Sometimes the wax prices come down not because the singles are dropping, but because the big stores want to get more product. And in order to get it at a profitable price, what they need to do is make the appearance that the sky is falling. And then on sites like DealerNet, for example, those numbers, it's a business to business site, those numbers start coming down. And then they buy it up, and then the price, poof, magically appears. Matter of fact, I would probably say 6 times last year. And I even stamped my foot about it 3 times, and I said, just watch, right? Just to make the point. I can tell that the market in wax was simply just being manipulated so that those who were running low on certain things could stock up more. All right. And guess what? Every single one of those times, everything went back up in roughly the time I said it was going to. Am I, a magician? Am I, a seer. No, it's math. And that's the key thing to a break is math. So that's what we're going to do next. We are going to break down a break that, we had done last week. And we're going to talk about the value of the break. All right. We're going to nail this down. We're even going to go by team. All right. Let's take a look here. This was the biggest spot in the break. All right. Now, when I price my breaks, what I do is when I offer them on Facebook, I actually do a 10% discount for multiple teams. So when I do teams that were discounted, I'm actually going to factor that into the numbers because that's the fair thing to do. The other thing is I'm going to subtract out the amount of money paying for shipping because, you can say, I'm adding extra to cover my fees. I'm adding extra to, run my electricity and feed my children. But no matter what you're buying, whether it's a single, a box, or whatever, the shipping's always built into it. All right. And it's just, so we're going to do that. And what I'm going to do, what I did was, I took a little bit of time doing this. So, is I already comped the cards out. Now that could be a whole other, like 2-hour video special. What is a comp? Because let's face it, there's a lot of differing opinions, and the truth of the matter is the majority of people are at least missing a little piece of it. Don't have it 100% right. I'm not saying I have it 100% right, but what I'm saying is I look at it as, I used to be in a job that did mortgages. So I look at comping cards like comping a house. Okay. There's different markets. There's different situations where you can get more, right? So we're not adding an in-ground swimming pool or building a deck to the cards, but we're recognizing the fact that just like Beckett used to do they still do, but low and high price, right? We just don't really follow Beckett pricing anymore. But that's the same thing. It's a guide. Well, there's kind of like a wholesale and a top end price, right? So I'm going to take a look at the Pirates. All right. I have the Pirates at $220. I got these Henry Davis cards. All right. Now, when I price something, I always give a range. Again, wholesale to top retail. All right. So let's say this could be anywhere worth from $6 to $15. All right. When I do these prices, I'm not going to tell you breaking is a way to flip. All right. The best way to flip is to actually get the stuff wholesale and sell it that way, and sell it however you want to sell it. Doesn't matter what way you sell it. Problem is, if you want to get allocations from a distributor, you probably got to come in hard at about $1.2 million worth of purchases in a year. $1 million a month to get good allocations. All right. I've broken a lot of cards. I sell a decent amount in a year. I ain't anywhere near that. And that's the problem right there, is because of that, you get penalized, right? It's not, I've been a customer for 7 years. This is what I got every year. All right. But anyway, so I got those cards. I got these Brian Hayes cards, right? There's 4 Hayes, could be anywhere from $3 to $10. I got an insert and looks like 3 rookies. None of them's a refractor. All right. So again, somebody could be like, oh, that card's only worth 50 cents. Or somebody could be like, I'll pay $2 for it. All right. That's where we get this range from. Same with this. It's a dollar mid card. Well, if you're in Pittsburgh, you're probably getting like $3 or $4 a piece for these at a show, maybe. So, especially a nice shiny set like Bowman's Best. All right. And yes, rookie card logos. Yeah, that's a whole other debate too. Anyways, so you got this pile of cards could be worth anywhere from $5 to $12. Right? You got this card. We're really going to focus on the bigger cards, but I'm taking this one team and really going deep on this one. So you got Leover Peguero. This auto, $12 to $18. Shaylin Polanco, $5 to $10. Cabrian Hayes Atomic, $12 to $25. All right. Oh, I missed this. This Davis Chrome. All right. These were, right off the bat going for about $12. They could go as low as $5. All right. Just depends. But let's give this is $220 for the spot. And it yielded about $102 worth of cards, top retail value. With some big upside. So this first ones I'm going to go over are actually teams that were mine. Wait, I bought into my own break? No. Here's the thing. I believe in law of averages. I believe in this system that I have for pick your team breaks so much. I actually don't schedule my breaks when they're filled. I schedule my breaks when they're filled enough. And if we sell out, we sell out. That's great. That's what I'm here to do. I'm here to get you guys some cards. If I don't sell out, well, I got I don't have it with me right now, but I got stuck with I did a huge football break and it wasn't moving. So I'm like, you know what? 4,000 plus worth of teams. Pulled a Joe Burrow Contenders rookie ticket stub out of 9. When I pulled the card, I saw it as about an $8,000 card. Bengals just won the AFC Championship. So that card, especially if I can get a good grade on it, you're talking like $25K plus. All right. That pays for a lot of spots that don't make it. But again, no spot's going to be a loss. And you got to look at it this way. It's 102 now. What is it? What if you're in it? If you got a 72-hour attention span, I could see where breaks can be tough sometimes. You do it for the long haul, and you hold some things, you move some things. You look at, do you feel they're undervalued? Do you feel like they're overvalued? All right. You can make out great in this hobby. I'm not saying that's the reason to do it, but you can make out great in this hobby. All right. I'm going to be filling up a store with tons of fun hobby stuff here. All right. Let's keep moving along. Move a little quicker. What do we got here? We got the Brewers. All right. $94 for this team. I got a pile here that covers about 25 of it. All right, I'm not going to do ranges anymore. I'm just going to do top values. I got this auto that's 40. Oh, we're so close to 94. Nobody ever wins in a break, right? Boom. It's gone for as much as 200 I've seen. I'm calling this a $175 card. Sal Frelick, refractor, auto, first Bowman Chrome. And that's raw. Don't forget, there's a lot of ways to get different values out of cards. There's the time factor. There's the grading factor. All right. So even these numbers don't tell you the whole story. And that's the problem is everybody's looking at the story from one chapter and they ain't reading the whole book. All right. Oh, this was a dud. White Sox, $130 team. This is it, man. $20 stack. All right, got some Andrew Vaughn rookies. Again, got some upside there. So, I mean, it's still a brutal hit, but maybe not so brutal. I don't know. This is another one that I think was a dudski. Giants, $90, $27 stack of cards. All right. A little bit of Joey Bart and a Buster Posey Atomic are your main things there. How about this one? Padres. All right, got a little bit of upside here. You got the Invicta Jackson Merrill. You got some refractors, Merrill, Tatis. This is the biggest card, though. Tatis Heat Wave going between 12 and 20. The Heat Wave where the box hits. $76 team like the Giants. Giants were 76. I'm sorry. Forgot to take the discount on the shipping out. $76 team, $43 worth of cards. You know, this is a loss numerically. Just consider this, though, as far as breaking goes, this isn't horrible. Okay? Horrible is when you spend $1,000 on a team and you get some places, wait for it, nothing. That's horrible, all right? This is not horrible. This is what I like about pick your team. If the breaker understands the product and what they're doing, they're going to make it so that it's not so bad when it's bad. And you're paying a little extra for the big ones, but the big ones come. And if law of averages, you're consistent with your breaking strategy, all right? This is a mistake a lot of people make. The little team, right? One team. They do it a few times. I'm not saying over and over again. I'm saying a few times. Then they're like, man, I didn't get anything out of those little teams. I saw these guys get these big monster hits. I'm just going to go for the biggest team that they got. And that's not the right one that break. So now, instead of giving themselves a small chance at something for like the next 20 breaks, now they put it all on black, changed the way they did things, and they took a beating for it. All right? There are things that are valuable besides the cards in this. Your experience, the time that you spend watching this. People go to a movie and it's a terrible movie and they go with their families and they spend $60 on movie tickets. All right. I have a family of 6, so I'd be like 90. If you got like the stadium seats and IMAX or whatever, I don't know. All right. And then $100 on popcorn and the movie sucks. You don't go, movies are bad. You just didn't have a good one. That's all. Movies are bad. All of them. No, I can think of like hundreds of movies that are awesome, but I guess that could be a different show too. It just wasn't the right one. But if you think the movie's going to be bad, what do? You wait for it to come out, I guess nowadays on demand, right? Or Redbox it or whatever, right? Or it comes to HBO Max or Disney Plus, and then you watch it at home. And it's a whole lot less of a hit. It's the same movie, whole lot less of a hit. Do you see where I'm getting at there? All right. So, consistency is something that helps. All right. do it for what you want out of it. And let me tell you, if you're expecting a quick buck, again, this might not be the right hobby for you. Because most people that do it strictly for a quick buck and don't put any effort into learning and understanding why things are worth what they are, and basically, the whole encyclopedia of collecting, right? And you don't learn a good chunk of that information. That's not what this is. All right. Sorry. Anyways, continuing with teams. I got 3 more that were mine. All right. Marlins. This is a $116 team. This stack of cards, 5 to 15. The Marlins were a team with a lot of possibilities. And what happened was we hit a few. All right. Marset Auto, $15. Yiddy Cappy, numbered to 150, $25. You got Ian Lewis Jr., numbered to 20, $10. This Joe Mack auto, numbered to 5, 30's fair. So you got some upside there with a bunch of different prospects. Again, Miami, not necessarily one of the higher market teams, one of the more heralded teams. But that's how, teams like the Padres weren't. And now you got one of the top superstars in baseball, and you got a strong farm system that's developed a lot of good players and continuing to develop good players. And there's going to be more interest in the hobby for a team like that. So things go in cycles a lot of times. Not everybody's the Yankees where everybody wants them, every day. You either love them or you hate them, right? Things go in cycles, and the Marlins are on a cycle where things could be on the upswing. Let's face it, a lot of times the Marlins produce good talent. They may not necessarily perform well for the Marlins. Maybe they do, and then the Marlins sell everybody off. Look at Miguel Cabrera. Look at Christian Yelich. All right, there's probably a ton of them that we can go over, but let's continue talking about these teams. Zach Veen for the Rockies, about a $10 card. Benny Montgomery, so we got a chrome and a paper, that's about $10. And then the rest of this pile is about $12. So Rockies were a $103 team. It only yielded about $32. Not a big winner right there. And last but certainly not least, we have Minnesota. We have the Twins. Okay. $20 pile, which is now too tall. And let's see what we got here. Austin Martin, Atomic, right? So that's about $10. Malfreen Sosa, base and number to 99. All right, that's a little better. So let's say 25 for the pair, and number to 20, and definitely some possible upside there. Brian Acuna, cousin of Ronald Acuna Jr., cousin of Luis Angel Acuna. Number to 20, that's a $40 card. So you got upside, and $85 spot yielded $95 worth of cards now. So, the choice is there. Do we cash out now? Do we cash out some? Right? Because, I'm in business, so I'm going to sell these, right? That's me. All right? Again, am I in it just for the money? No, I love doing this. My favorite collection is the collection of things that I have hit for other people, believe it or not. I snapshot every big card that we have, and that's like my personal collection is I pulled that for somebody. That gives me satisfaction. Just being able to have handled cards that have had Babe Ruth's autograph on it and stuff like that, or that Joe DiMaggio wore, or the Jackie Robinson wore. So how did I end out? Well, here's the thing. Don't buy every team in the break. Otherwise, you might as well just buy the box, right? But What's a good number? Well, I do 10% off 3 teams or more for a reason. I think 3, 5, 6, right in that 3, 4, 5, 6 area. And I like balance. So like one big team, maybe a middle team, and a crappy team. Crappy team might end up being free the way I do things. So now you're buying 2 teams really, and you're getting an extra one. All right, with the discount. And sometimes, the little teams surprise you. But basically, a few teams does kind of improve your odds. And perceptually, when you have 3 teams, you do all right, you bomb, you do great, right? Those 3 teams kind of balance out the world a little bit. And that one team that really did bad gets picked up by a team that does really good. And sometimes you have all 3 teams bust. That's a bad day. I had all those teams, $900 worth of teams, $654 in value. And there's some upside. Am I going to move all of this necessarily? It ain't going to be tomorrow. It's an overtime thing. I have hundreds of monster boxes full of cards. Some that haven't even been out for sale in years. That's why I'm glad we got the store opening up. I'm finally going to get to look at some of those buried treasures. And we'll be documenting that either through YouTube or Facebook or whatever. But the point is, all right, I took a hit today. But don't forget, I pulled that Joe Burrow that I want to get like $25K for. So value-wise, if you add up, and I've had good breaks where I end up ahead. I've had breaks where I end up behind. Law of averages. You know what? I'm doing just fine. Otherwise, I wouldn't keep doing things the way that I do. All right. Let's take a look at some other teams here now. All right. So we got the Rangers. $50 team, $25 worth of cards. That Maximo Acosta was the highlight. All right. A's. $30 team, about $20 in cards. You got a first Bowman Chrome. It's a pitcher, which means at $10, at this point, it's not going to go down that much further. It could go up. Why? Why can't I see? Sorry, I was John Cenaing for a second there. I couldn't see me. So, you spend $30, you get $20 worth of cards. Again, you're also getting some supplies and, again, what is that entertainment value, right? Is the breaker talking about sports, talking about the hobby, giving you advice that, that actually sounds like it makes sense. All right. Or are they screaming around in a crop top and telling you to go screw yourself? I don't know. Some people will get that reference. That's not me. I want to have some fun here. Let's see some more. So we have the Blue Jays. $60 team, $18 worth of cards. That Vlad Jr., the highlight. Yeah. All right. That wasn't so good. How about this one? Oh, wait, there's more. How about the Phillies? Phillies are a $60 team. Got a pile that's about $8. All right. You've got some Alec Boehm cards. He's a guy that didn't quite perform as well as many would have hoped. You got $25 worth of his cards here. Again, there's some upside there. And then this Matan auto is about $8. Especially in this market where I'm in, because I'm in South Jersey, right near Philly. So $60 break, $41 in cards. And again, Bohm's got some upside. So, if this card was like 15, 12 or 15, he has a real good season next year, all-star level, then, whatever that difference is, maybe it's gone between the rookies and that parallel. Again, Caillou breakers. I want what I want. I want it now. And if I don't get it, I'm going to cry about it. They're not going to be happy with that. A Phillies fan who collects Alec Bohm and thinks that he's on the fast track to being a viable player, right? He is going to be happy with that. Person who can only think 72 hours at a time, not going to be happy with that. It's just so many perspectives to look at things. And I'm not saying that to sugarcoat it. This is legit hard fact here. This break could be a win in the long run. Not just like, oh, I got my Phillies and I'm happy. Or, oh, I didn't lose that much and I enjoyed myself for 2 hours. That can still be a win, dollar sign wise. It's a lot of different ways to look at things, and some people are just not looking hard enough. I want what I want. I want it now. And if I don't get it, yeah. I might be upsetting some people right now. I don't apologize for that. If you can't have fun doing your hobby, all right? And breaking isn't for everybody. We're going to talk about that too. We're going to talk about the fact that breaking is not for everybody. All right? It's plain as day. If you're collecting a player, let's say who's retired, and he's not a frequent appearer in current product, and you're not looking to, get into, there's some vintage style breaks out there, but again, just might not be for you. Buy singles. But with this, all right, let's go back to the Pirates. $220 for the team. I only got 102 back. What if I had hit a base, the easiest one to get, Henry Davis first Bowman auto? That was pricing at $250. What if it was a refractor? That's pricing at $350. What if I hit the green to 99? That would have been $1,000. There was a comp on a red lava at $7K. That's numbered to 5. But it's not the basic red, so it's going to go for a little bit less than the red because, again, it's not just scarcity, it's preference, all right? And there's just these little things that people are like, yeah, even though that's numbered to 99 and that's numbered to 99, that's worth $100 and that's worth $10,000. That's just the way the hobby is. Another thing that sometimes is difficult to understand. Because the gold went for $5K, solid gold, right? Went for $5K. The 1-of-1 superfractor went for $15K, and it'll probably go for more if it's resold again. That's one of the weird things, like when the card's that scarce, a lot of times, when you see the cards come out, they're at higher prices, but something like that's the only one of one, you're going to have people that are going to go hard for it after they realize that they missed out on the opportunity the first time. That's happened at auction houses. One day, somebody buys it for $250,000, and they're like, all right, I've had this for like a few months. Let's see what I can get for it. And they end up getting $400,000 for it. That's the hobby. All right, let's check out these teams. So we got the Mariners, 103.50, and the Mets, $35 team. Well, tough luck for the Mets this time. $35, $10 stack. Although if you're in the New York market, maybe, these top line prices, there's actually people who'll pay a premium. You're at a New York show and you have an atomic refractor Francisco Lindor, you might get somebody that pays you $3, $5 for it. None of these are set in stone. Ronnie Mauricio Chrome card. Somebody could say it's a quarter. Somebody could say it's $1. You might even be able to stretch it to $2. Who knows? There's no fixed numbers here. And then 153 turned to 75. So you got a pile here. Kellenic refractor. That's got some upside. Kyle Lewis auto. It's not a rookie, so. Logan Gilbert, rookie auto, pitcher. And then Taylor Trammell, redemption card. All right. Yeah, there's some upside there, but we'll call that an L. Still, we'll call that a loss. And we got this one here. Royals ended up with a $15 pile. It's not even worth showing. It was a $55 team. How about the Cubs? The Cubs. It's not a lot of cards there. $85 team. How did they turn out? Well, the pile was only worth about $15. Madrigal rookie. Couple, not first Bowman refractors, but a couple refractors out of Bowman of some decent prospects. And then, this break was a mix of Bowman's best, Bowman draft. It's good. It's important to know the products, too. We haven't even talked about the products, right? And then there was a few other things. It was mostly leaning towards prospecting as far as the small stuff. Leaf metal draft, okay? And I think some Onyx. But, number to 150, that Christian Hernandez. He's one of the big prospects from this year. And then how about his autograph, number to 75? Ooh, with one of the cool new Bowman's best designs. And that card right there, number to 150. Again, not a first Bowman card, but he is a desirable player, and this was his first year in products for Topps, from Topps/Bowman. So in all, $85 team, worth approximately $315. Pretty sure they were the big winner. No shock there. That's a huge upside. 85 to 315. All right, let's see some more teams. Tigers. $130 team. Spencer Torkelson had like 5 different autograph subjects in Bowman's best. Did not get one. We got a Jackson Jobe refractor and a Ty Madden auto out of Leaf that was numbered to 10. So a little bit of value there, but basically the Tigers ended up getting like $50 worth of cards. The Nationals didn't really have much to offer except for a prospect that could not be found in autograph form in the Bowman product. But, again, we did include some Leaf in there. So what happened? Well, we got lucky. This was a $35 team. This has some upside, too, on top of everything. So we got one of those cool Brady House inserts. We got the Atomic. So these were 1 per case. And then we got just the basic, right? Not numbered. One of the lower tier autos out of Leaf Metal Draft. I mean, this pile, there's 2 paper ones too, so we'll count that all together. This pile, without Brady House, is worth about $3. That'd be rough, 35 to 3, right? But these cards together, about 80. That's a win. That's a good win right there. So You had one team come in about 80 under. You had another team come out about 45 ahead with some upside. So on day one, you're like 35 down on 165. It's not the end of the world. Again, you got your top loaders, your sleeves is going to be packaged nice. And you had 2 hours to watch it. And now you probably have about 2 years to watch the Brady House develop as a player, and maybe he ends up being a big deal. There's some good hope for him, good scouting reports. The Yankees, $65 team. All right. We got 3 autographs for the Yankees and some Jason Dominguez activity. All right. So 5 cards of him, a few refractors. So 65 turns to 82. Hey, yo. It's not too bad. Rays, $130 team. All right. Got nice Carson Williams, Wander Franco, and the Wander Franco, not a rookie card. It's not a rookie card. I don't care what Beckett says. Doesn't fit the rule. Beckett's rule, yes. The actual rule, no. But that ended up with 85, so that came a little short. You know, you get the Wander in color, and you're like golden there. So is it difficult to have bridged that gap? No. Yankees came out a win, so that helped alleviate some of that. I know who. So that didn't end out too bad. All right. Let's see. We got another pile here. Oh, what's this? It's got a big fancy box. $50 spot. Right. This Cusick goes for about 25. What's in here? It's an autographed baseball of Ronald Acuna Jr. So now, $50 team, $215 worth of value. It's a little tougher on memorabilia, though, because you can go to a website and that Acuna ball is like $200. All right. You can go on eBay and it's less. I don't believe memorabilia pricing. It coincides with eBay. If somebody's putting memorabilia up on eBay, they're usually pretty desperate to get rid of it because it's not the right place to get rid of most things. You'll still get a decent amount on the Acuna ball. You'll probably get $100 or so. But, you know, if somebody goes on, let's say, Fanatics website, I'm sure that the Acuna ball is probably about $200, maybe more. Little tough to tell the market, but that's still for $50. That's a definite win. Definite win. You got this stack here now. All right. Got a team that was 71.50 and managed to pull a $30 card. All right. Plus Dylan Carlson, a solid rookie. Many feel undervalued. A whole stack of him. So in all, $71. You probably got about $60 worth of card in the pile. That's not bad. Angels were $152 team. Unfortunately, Sam Backman, not the best auto that the Angels could pull. And Joe Adell had a few cards, including this insert, but nothing crazy, just a bunch of base. Again, he's one whose season could have gone better, and he's horribly undervalued right now, in my opinion. But 6 Adell cards, about $18 worth. The rest of the pile is $15, so $40 worth of cards. Again, a tremendous amount of upside. I think Adele is one of those players that people look for like Hall of Fame possibilities nowadays, and like it's like Hall of Fame or bust. He and Joey Bart, I feel, have the best chances out of that 2021 rookie class. Mike Trout batted 220, give or take, his rookie year. All right. Joe Adele, the situation's weird with no minor league season in 2020. He kind of got called up without a little bit of he would have benefited from just like a half a season more in the minor leagues. So that kind of messed things up. He actually, I think, did get sent down last year and did well at the minor league at AAA, and then came back up for the end of the season. So I think he's gonna have a breakout year. Maybe it's next year, maybe it's the year after. A lot of habits got interrupted. Baseball players are creatures of habit. You can't sell guys short right now because you really got to have that 3-year window. All right, you don't know right away. And you look at all the stuff that he did leading up to his initial call up, and he was lights out. So we'll see. Then you had the Red Sox, $197 team. Again, you had a big prospect in there. And, well, we didn't get too much of them. So we got a base refractor. Again, also not a rookie card, but we'll call it that. And then his insert there, a Bobby Dahlbeck Atomic and this Sparkly Blaze Jordan. It's something if you add it all together, but it's 105. So we'll still chalk that up as an L there. All right. I only got 3 more piles to go over here. There's a few teams. How about the Diamondbacks? They actually $95 worth on the spot, $138 worth of cards. We got lucky with some autos, and Jordan Lawler, a hot player, saw a surge in values after the break was initially priced. So, some people say, oh, that break was sitting around for a few days, not worth getting in. Really? Because, I don't change the price usually once it's out, unless there's some insane circumstances. I leave it there. I just want to sell through. All right, I already did my balancing and everything like that, and that's it. So I don't even want to bring this pile out. Astros did not do well that break. Astros, $35 team, $15 pile. Nothing major. And then this is the last one here. And then we'll do the final tally. All right. So we got the Dodgers, $58 team, 46 in cards. That's not too bad. Maddox Bruns, a pitcher, but drafted high, and going to the Dodgers doesn't hurt. Dodgers have drafted some good pitchers lately, so people are taking stock in the scouting reports. And then a refractor of Wilmon Diaz. Then you got the Indians. Well, the Indians, $26 team, $10 worth of cards. One of them's an autograph. It's a pitcher, so. And we got the Reds here. $94 spot, $42 worth of cards. You got this Matt Nelson that was numbered to 4, so it's low numbered. And then Matt McClain numbered to 15. He isn't in Bowman draft. He's probably going to be a holdover for 2022 Bowman. So that might be one kind of move now while the market's good for him. And then the Orioles, $107 team, $128 returning cards. Key one there, that one, Green Colton Cowser. So when we look at everything, we're gonna look. We looked at it by team. Now we're gonna look at some as a whole. So $2,641. All right, and this is what it yielded: $2,189 worth of cards. So if you had, as one individual, bought all those boxes, all right, and bought sleeves and top loaders and did your thing, all right, 2,189. So you've got some holds that need to come up in value, but I mean, honestly, it's not terrible. It's a pretty decent percentage return. Again, I told you, I've seen in football, you can rip open a $1,000 box and get $50 worth of cards. You can open up a flawless basketball box for $9,000 and get a few $100s worth of cards if you're really unlucky. All right. Yeah. So that's not a bad number. So we talked about Raz, right? 1 in 10 every time. 1 in 10 every time. So how many teams surpassed the value of what they cost? And the answer is 8. 8 out of 30. So that's 27%. Now, what if we had done things totally different? What if we had done a random team break? Divided equally, it's about $88 a spot. And it's not always going to turn out this way. Sometimes you're just going to have one huge card and then everybody else suffers, right? And other times it's going to spread itself around. It's just the nature of the break, just like it's the nature of opening the box. Again, there's odds on the back of the pack. Doesn't mean it's a gamble. Definitely not a scratch off, but there are odds. Well, if this were a random team, 7 teams were at $90 or more in value. And 3 teams were close. They were in the 80s. I think it was 3. So that's 10 teams out of 30. Again, a slight loss is really a win. Anytime you're opening any product. That's just the way the market prices out. Plus, you also paid some poor person, 2 hours worth of time to have to deal with that on camera, opening all those packs, showing off all those cards. All right. Well, some people will do it in half an hour, but they don't care that you see what you get. You know what I'm saying? And then there's the shipping and packaging and making everything nice. So, that's just how it goes. All right. So when you're looking at a break, look at it just like you were opening a regular box. But you're getting a share of something that you specifically chose. Or you're just getting a share, like if it's a random team break. All right, different ways, different calculations. But the way you look at things, are you looking at it now or are you looking at it later? You really shouldn't look at it one way. You should look at it both ways. Upside matters. There's also a value to your time, to your entertainment. And I try to give advice on hobby stuff when I'm doing my breaks. Does the breaker care about you? That advice can have value. There are people who have taken advantage of the advice and they've probably saved themselves some money or not cost themselves some money. And that's important too. Are single boxes better to break yourself? Again, just going to take the last random box I opened up. Bowman Draft Sapphire. Current value is about $375 a box. All right. I priced everything out. Steinmetz is about, let's say, 12. Again, I'm going top retail value here. Dominguez, 20. Luciano, 10. Number to 99. Let's pump it up to 15, although really I feel like this is a $20, $25 card. Jackson Wolf, numbered to 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I got him at $25. It's a pitcher, but it's a first Bowman too. That's important. That first Bowman always adds value, especially on the Sapphire. $12 for Maddox Bruns. $8 for Alcantara. Pedro Leon. $12 for Alcantara. $8 for Leon. $12 for Cusick. All right. Who else did we get? Yoelqui Cespedes, about $10. Robert Passan, about $5. Jake Fox, like 18, $20. Tristan Casas, $8. Ty Madden, 12. Jordan Walker, it went as high as 12. I'd say more like 8, $3 to $12 range I gave that card. So that was a tricky one. I would probably say about $8. Ethan Wilson, about 12. This stack of cards, right, as a lot, could go for like $30. Individually, you could get up to $100 for it. So it depends on what your goal is. And also the accessibility you have to people who would buy them. All right? It's not just would they sell, it's can you sell them. So max value you're getting at today is $317. These numbers I did today. So that's a loss. Also, if you're like me and you generally sell at wholesale pricing, you might only get like $133 for this stack. That's so for the people who say the only way to go is to open the boxes yourself, the breakers, add a ton of extras and everything like that. So you just did a break, right? You got your combo team discount that I like to give out, and you got all 30 teams, and you busted. Now, it doesn't mean buying a box is a bad thing either. Are single box better to break yourself? It depends. If you're looking for the top cards, well, that's why the boxes cost what they do, because of the top cards, not because of the bottom cards, right? So if you're looking for the top cards and it's in your budget to do it, go for it, because that could be the reward. This was a crappy box. I got like none of the top first Bowmans. At least when I opened that pack of first edition in the beginning of the video, I got one top 10 guy. Right? 8th overall pick. But I mean, really, I could have done better on that. If you're a PC collector, though, single boxes are a little tougher. I collect insert low to mid value player here. So now you're buying a box, hoping that you get your low to mid. Well, the box isn't priced based on that guy. The box is priced on the top guy. If you don't hit the top guy, now you've taken money that you're going to spend buying singles of the other. So you gotta look at the break as if you're going to get into a break. You got to do this. You got to say, is what I'm paying worth it to get what I want? And if you're looking for that low to mid tier guy, a random team break is not for you. That's for the guy going after the big guys, right? But remember all those little piles where it was like, well, this team was $35 and only ended up getting $15 worth of cards. Well, it's not going to be priced like that. Now it's everybody paid $88, and there's going to be 7 or 8 guys that got those $15 piles. And then there's going to be guys who got the $300 stack and the $200 stack, and they made out on the deal. Or they got 3 spots. Random team break, again, you're paying to get the top teams. If you don't end up with 3 top teams, it's harder. If you get 1 and you get the right card, then you're good. Personally, we do here mostly pick your team breaks because, again, we're not, even though we're talking about dollar values here, That's the focus is getting you the cards that you want. But here's the but. Again, well, I want to go after Henry Davis. All right. So this time around, we only got $30 worth of his cards. But it could have been that $15,000 card. Now, the odds are tiny on that. But the greens, there's 99 of. The refractors, there's a bunch of. Right? 499. A base auto would have been a win. And we know there's more than 499 of those. And that's not even factoring in, does it grade well, this, that, and the other thing. So if you're going after top guys, you can either go for the random team break or you can pay for what they're worth. And just remember, law of averages. Doesn't mean you do it once and you're going to get it. If anything, you may get into 10 breaks on a top-tier team and not get something. You might get into 15. You might get into, but you get those two cards that come back to back, and all of a sudden everything's erased. And just like when you are buying singles, which we're going to go into a second, when you are buying singles, if you think that player has major upside compared to what it's priced now, again, even if you lost today on the break, but you think my odds are good for whatever I get out of this break, that I'm at least in the future going to be able to make out on that, that's where you get the possibility of still getting a win. All right? It's not 9 innings and you're done. It's a whole season, right? Or maybe several seasons. Think of it like a player with a 5-year contract and it's backloaded. Okay? So you get $3 million this year, and if you don't play good and they cut you, all right, this is probably more like a football contract, but even though we're talking about baseball, then that's not good. But your guaranteed money, your expected average gain is good. And then if you perform, or that player performs to the standards you want, in the end, you may end up with something that's a big deal. Think of guys who were in breaks in 2017, and this I just got a couple base optic Patrick Mahomes cards. I paid $90 for the Chiefs in a break, and I just got 2 base optic Patrick Mahomes. Well, back then, that would have been like $5. You threw them in a box, and the next thing you know, it's 2020, and they're going for like $50 raw. Oh, then I doubled up. Well, let me get them graded. PSA 10s. Now you're talking like a few $100 a piece, right? It's a little different perspective. So don't be a Caillou breaker and don't have a 72-hour attention span. All right? Because this hobby will not be fun for you. Because you will, even if you're like, oh, I'm done with breaking, I'm going to bash it on social media every time you can. You know what? You're going to find something else to complain about. All right? Don't be that person. Have some fun. Understand what you're getting into before you get in over your head, and have some fun with it. And things will balance out a lot better for you that way. Well, is it better to buy singles? Okay. Again, you're like, just buy what you want, and then you're going to end up fine. You know what? Most people who buy singles, what ends up happening is if they have the knowledge and they really have a good sense of when somebody's, at that level where you should sell, right? I often have the example, I bought like 500 Mike Trout rookies. That's 75 cents a piece. Remember, he batted 220 his first season. I mean, breaking really wasn't that much of a thing in 2011, but in 2012, a little prior to spring training, about January or February, I picked 10 players that I thought were undervalued. I only needed one to be a winner. And from 75 cents at approximately an average of 8, that means some went at $3 and some went at 25. I think one or two might have even made it to 50. Then I made out really well. Really well. All right, here's the thing, though. They're worth a lot more than $8 now, right? All right, you don't know. I don't regret that because that catapulted some other purchases. And, sometimes it's just chopping wood. You know what? Whatever those Mike Trouts are worth now, and I look at the total value of what I have now, and you know what? I did all right for myself. Need to sell some of it so I can get some money. But as far as value of inventory, I think I did all right for myself over those 10 years. Started even going back to 2014 when I first opened the store, my inventory wasn't even 10% of what I have now. And actually a lot of it was in CDs and DVDs. And that was kind of on the way out. And so what we ended up happening was the trading card thing and the toys took over. And they were the leading category sellers. I was making a better percentage on music and movies, but I was definitely seeing a lot more sales coming from the collectible ends of things. All right. So are singles better? Oh, it depends. Everything. There's not a straight answer for any question you have about this hobby. I guess if you're really specific, you can get, but I mean, just general questions, there's not always a right answer, or there's multiple right answers, or every answer is wrong. If that's the case, then start collecting sneakers. All right. And if you only have 2 feet or less, and you only enjoy wearing nice sneakers, maybe it's time to pick something else. Maybe you're good at video games. I don't know. Is it better to buy things in lots? Well, I think compared to just singles, buying in lots, yeah. Because, I mean, again, I bought those Mike Trouts. Had I bought one Mike Trout at 75 cents and then sold it for whatever the lowest one was, like $3, then, yeah, I'm not gonna make a lot of that. Did that 500 times. And as time went along, it continued to grow. Yeah, I made out good on that, percentage wise. We know that's probably that could have bought, like, instead of renting the store, I could own it. But again, hindsight. So I think lots are always better. Now, again, you can believe it or not, you can lose money on lots, okay? You can be like, oh, buy it as is. It's a cheap price. It's only like $1,000, but it's so many boxes of cards. And you're like, let me take a chance on it. And there's nothing in there. It's totally been cherry picked to the bottom. That can happen. Or you can go into a thrift store. I got this right here for $20. 3 800 count boxes full of magic cards, which magic cards actually have an extra thin point compared to a regular card, right? So these boxes maybe hold about 1,000 a piece, let's say. Maybe even more, who knows? All right. In this box, these 3 boxes for $20, all right? This card right here is worth about 50. Winner right there. and then this one's about 17. So that's almost another time over. And inside that box, there's a ton of foils, a ton of uncommons. About half of that was commons. So I was surprised because I just kind of peeked through. There was about, I don't know, 300 to 500 rares, different scope collectible games and sports cards. But bottom line is, I sell that one card, I get my money back and then some, and then I don't care. I could do bulk rares at $1 at 50 cents at 25 cents a piece. Maybe even put them in lots or whatever, and I'm good. So yeah, bottom line is the best way to collect is your way. So this is what the problem I have is with the people who are saying, "Oh, breaks are a waste, breaks are terrible, blah blah blah." You know what? You wouldn't have the singles out there if there weren't breaks. Most of the cards that are opened up come through breaks. All right, especially now with the value of boxes right now so high, it doesn't give a lot of incentive for them to be opened. Because if you look at the time span, right, over the last few years, how much is wax from 2016? How much is wax from 2017, 2018, 2019? All right. It's up there. There's a lot of stuff that I sold at like $500 for the box, thinking, like National Treasures-ish. And those boxes now go for like $100,000, right? Like Mahomes stuff. All right, maybe a little exaggeration there, but they go for a lot of money. Maybe 100,000 a case. I don't know. 25 grand a box for National Treasures. That probably sounds about right. I don't know. I haven't looked in a long time. I don't get any 2017 stuff lately. So yeah, most of the single cards come out of breaks. So for all of you guys that hate on breaks and say singles are the only ways to go, if the breaks didn't happen, guess what? Singles would be a lot more expensive. Because the breaks is the way that a lot of the stuff comes out. Sorry, not sorry. That's the way it goes. There's a lot of inexperienced collectors out there. They're new to the game, and a lot of them do honestly look for advice. And they're given these rules to not collecting your way, right? Like Burger King, right? But it's their way. They're telling you how they collect, and you should collect that way because everybody should collect like them. You got trolls, you got type A personalities, and a lot of times the people giving these negative responses are either equally as clueless, like they just don't know a lot about the hobby, and because they have a social media account, they think they know everything. Or it's the experienced people like, oh, gosh, you should know this already. Like, I knew that when I was collecting for 3 days. Really? All right. Hey, you know what? 90% of the people in this 75% of the people, 72% of the people in this hobby want you to enjoy it, and they will give you good advice, and they will try to help. Maybe they won't give you good advice, but at least their intentions are in the right place. All right. It's a great community. Being able to do this as my career is one of the most amazing blessings in my life, next to my beautiful children, my wonderful wife, and I'm breathing. A little stuffy, but I'm breathing. Kicking up a lot of allergies, moving things out of dusty places, but this is what it is. So this is a great community. All right. Don't let somebody's negativity ruin it for you. But be informed, know what you're getting yourself into. Again, somebody comes up to me, oh, I've never done this before. Should I get in that break? And that break has like a $500, spot remaining, and we're breaking the top of the top end. I'm not going to tell somebody who's never broken to get in it. I mean, it's their money. I'm not going to tell them to not get in it, but I'm going to advise them against it. I'm going to be like, hey, we're going to be putting, what do you like? That's the thing. What do you like? Well, I want to collect guys who graduated from this university, and so okay, I we got something a little bit more suited for the player. You're looking for these 3 players. Why don't you wait for this mixer? You'll probably end up spending like $100, but you'll get a whole bunch of cards. This one's a little all killer, no filler, and you know what? I don't want to ruin the experience for them. Especially, I'm not going to try to sell them something that they don't want. Let's face it, this trading cards is not a necessity. It's not food. It's not clothing. All right. And even then with clothing, people get things that they don't need. Even with food, we're going to, eat out at fancy places 7 times this month. You get the value out of it in many different ways. Enjoy the hobby and keep on ripping in the new world. No, that's not our slogan. We look forward to ripping you a new one soon. That's the one. Yeah. So hopefully we'll have a new break airing live. And again, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Check us out. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitch. We're on Drip, right? That's just strictly a trading card platform. We're on Whatnot, same deal there. Well, not just trading cards, but like collectibles. Like Funko Pops are on there, things like that. So have fun with it. Know what you want. Don't let somebody else tell you what they want you to get out of it, because this is your hobby. And enjoy. Take care.